Hey, hello guys, welcome back to my channel for another interesting video. And this is going to be again a continuation module for basic statistics for data science, and this is going to be the sixth episode on the same module, right? So as you can see on screen, this is my personal description. So my name is Pranav Gandhi. You're watching my channel. This video is published on my channel, and I'm a trainer and consultant. Total experience of 22 years, and these are whatever domains and academics and certifications, and these are my achievements till date. And of course my contact details with LinkedIn, email and WhatsApp details or contact number, etc. So I welcome you all again to the sixth episode of Basic Statistics for Data Science, and these are the earlier videos which I have produced. So you can go through the list, right? So we have already covered with 10 videos so far, and this is going to be the 11th video where we are going to discuss about another measure which is also called as measures of dispersion or second moment of business decision. Okay. Again, there are three different measurements available, like variance, standard deviation and range. So let us understand them one by one. So for better understanding, I will put forward one example over here to understand these measures theoretically. So as we are discussing about measures of dispersion, which is also called as I said, second moment business decision, and this is professional terminology of this, or you can say a statistical terminology of this. So in first moment of business decision, in our earlier videos we have understood measures of centrality, right? And now we are going to understand the measures of dispersion. So what is the difference between measures of centrality and measures of dispersion? Let us first understand the difference between centrality and dispersion. So when it comes to dispersion, we are actually talking about the variation. And from technical point of view, what we are talking about, the variation from centrality. So let us understand this with an example. And before taking an example, what I want to make you understand with a drawing is that in our earlier video we were talking about, suppose if this is my distribution and if this is my normal distribution, then, or distribution of the data, then obviously if this is universally distributed like this or normally distributed like this, then centrality means I am talking about the central aspect of the data. Now what we are going to discuss when we are going to discuss about dispersion is, suppose these are my data points, right, lying on my x-axis. So how this data point is away, how much away from the central tendency, or how much this data point is away from the central tendency of the data it belongs to. This is what going to be, we are going to understand, we are going to discuss. So let us take one example. Popularly we take the example of a ICC Cricket Council, that is International Cricket Council, who is having some sort of requirements about the cricket ball to be manufactured. Now there are some limits, there are some specifications. So we are taking an example of cricket ball, but any item, any product you manufacture, there are always going to be some sort of specifications. Or so to say, specification limits. Like in this particular case, if a ball is being manufactured, then the International Cricket Council has defined some sort of upper specification limit and lower specification limit. Now that limit is something like 224 millimeters and 229 millimeters. Now if you calculate the average of these two numbers, it comes to around 226.5 millimeters. Now if this organization has to finalize a tender with a manufacturing companies, let's say there are two companies, namely A and B, who have completed the tender proceedings and all, and also given the samples to be tested by ICC. So ICC has ordered, let's say, 100 samples. Of balls to be tested whether they are measuring within the upper specification limit and lower specification limit or not. Now those 100 balls manufactured by company A have these diameters. Something like this. I'm just taking because this is just an understanding of how it works or why it is important. Now let's assume that the balls, 100 balls manufactured by A and 100 balls manufactured by B. Now if you see, both the manufacturers have manufactured their sample balls within the specification limit. But still there is an important difference. Because if you see, the 100 balls manufactured by company A is having this much of range, so to say, or the variation from the central tendencies which is expected, whereas the company B has manufactured in these limits. Now there is a difference between both the manufacturers. Now obviously ICC is going to finalize the tender with B because all the balls manufactured by B are having lesser dispersion or variation from the centrality, from the average diameter expected, whereas company A has manufactured it in a wider range. But then the question arises that both the manufacturers have manufactured all the sample balls within the so-called specification limit provided by ICC. Then why shall ICC go and finalize the tender with B instead of going with A? A also has manufactured the balls within the limit. So the thing over here is ICC is thinking about that there is this much chance, or there is a chance that A might cross the limit because A's machines are producing the balls with such variation as compared to B. It doesn't mean that B will never produce a ball which is out of the limit, but from the sample data or from the sample balls which are provided by both the manufacturers to take the measurements by the ICC, company B has lesser variation from the central tendency or from the centrality. And that is what is very, very important over here to understand, right? So how to measure these measurements? So there are some formulas, and there are again 3 different measures when it comes to measures of dispersion. One is called as variance, one is called as standard deviation, and the third one is called as the range. When we are saying we have to calculate the variance, then the formula to calculate the variance is, of course, there will be 2 formulas again, because as I said, while doing the statistical analysis, we will be always having two different data. One will be population data, one will be sample data. Most of the times we have to do the sample statistics and infer the result on the population. Because as we have already learned in our sampling video, that many of the times it is possible that population data entirely 100% may not be available. So by taking the samples, we will infer our statements, our statistical analysis, our comments to the population. So to calculate the variance for the population, the formula is sigma square So this is called sigma. So sigma square is equal to summation means addition of x minus mu whole square divided by n. Now here what is x? The value of a random variable. Now what is random variable? We have already discussed and I have created a video for that, so you can watch back that. What is mu? Just in earlier videos we have seen mu is nothing but the mean or average of values in or stored in random variable. The whole square of that and summation of all those values divided by n. What is n? Capital N. The total number of values in my random variable. So now let us take an example. Suppose I have a data called something like this: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And let us understand this as this is in millimeter and this is a measurement of something, maybe length of a stick or something like that, on the nut bolt or whatever. Now this is going to be, so let us let me write it, diameter in mm of something. Now this is going to be my x. So I have to first calculate the average of this. So as we have already studied how to calculate the average, 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50 divided by 5 is going to be 90, 120, 140, 150 divided by 5 is going to be 30. So this is going to be my mu. So I got the value for x, I got the value for mu. Now I want to calculate the variance for this particular data. So to calculate that, what I'm going to do is, for every value of x, or from every value of x, I'm going to deduct the average value of the data, which means 10 minus 30, 20 minus 30, 30 minus 30, 40 minus 30, 50 minus 30. which is nothing but minus 20, minus 10, 0, 10, 20. Now I have to take the square of it, square of the differences. So I have to take the square of the differences. Which means I am saying 400, 100, 0, again 100, 200. And if I add this now, sorry, 400, then how much the value will be? 1000. Right? So out of this part, sigma square equal to x minus mu whole square divided by n. The numerator I have got as 1000. And how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So divide by 5 is going to be my sigma square. So if I want to calculate the variance, if I want to say or calculate the variance for the given data, which is this diameter in millimeter, the variance of this data is going to be 250. Now what happened over here? This 250 is millimeter square, because when I deduct this 10 minus 30 and took a square, so this 10 was in millimeter, 30 was in millimeter, so whatever I have got 20 minus 20 as in millimeter, so 400 I have got as millimeter square. This is also millimeter square, this is also millimeter square, this is also millimeter square, and this is also millimeter square. So naturally the variance I have got in squared. Now why I have done this squaring of the units, or why I have done this squaring thing? Because if I want to calculate the difference between two data points, it cannot be negative. You can see over here, this is becoming minus 20, this is becoming minus 10, right? So the distance from any point to itself can be 0, but from the distance from this point to this point shall not be negative. So because I don't want the negative effect in it, I have squared the values and I got a positive value. So you can see here minus 20 becomes 400. So ultimately I have got a positive value. But what happens over here? In this process of making the values or the distance into the positive numbers, I have squared it, but because of the squaring, my units are also got squared. Now to do any kind of analysis, the squaring of units is not going to be helpful. So to remove the squaring effects, another measure have come, and that is called as standard deviation, which is nothing but average variation from the average of the data. So in our earlier data, which was 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, this was our average or mean. So I want to calculate what I am interested in, how far away this 10 from this 30, how far away this 40 is from this 40. Okay. So to calculate that, I can use this measure, which is going to give me the average variation. Okay, not the exact variation, the average variation from the average of the data. And to calculate that, we are going to use, because whenever we are dividing it by with n, we are talking about average. So to calculate the standard deviation, we simply have to take the square root of this formula. That's it. What we have to do is, we have to take the square root of this formula, which is variance for population. So we will get sigma, instead of sigma square, we will get sigma is equal to square root of summation of xi minus mu whole square divided by n, where I equal to 1 to I equal to n. Now this is going to give me the standard deviation of the data. Now, like we have calculated it for the population, similarly it will be there for sample. The only thing is that there is some differences in the formula and some, what you can say, the assignment operators, or not assignment operator, but the expression changes over here. Like variance will be denoted by sigma square, standard deviation will be denoted by sigma, and that is when we are talking about population. For sample, the variance will be denoted by s square and the standard deviation will be denoted by s. So from earlier video and this video, one thing we have understood, that whenever we are talking about population parameters, these are called population parameters and these are sample parameters. So whenever we are discussing about population parameters, they will be always expressed in Greek letters, whereas sample parameters you will find always will be explained in English letters. This is one more difference. And the difference within the formula is this capital N has been replaced by small n minus 1. This small n denotes the number of observations or number of data points, like this 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. If this is going to be my population, then 30 and 40 can be my sample for this population, because it is a part of the population. So in this case, if this is my sample, then my small n is going to be number 2, because there are two numbers, right? So to calculate the variance and standard deviation for sample, we use these formulas. The rest of the things will be same. Only thing is that here we have to use n minus 1. We will see couple of one example through Excel, how the calculation happens and how it varies. And there is another measure where it comes to measures of dispersion, and that is called range, which is nothing but simply the difference of maximum value and minimum value in the data. That's it, right? So let us see one example how to calculate variance and standard deviation, or how it works. To understand it in a better way, I will give you one example through Excel, right? So you can see over here, when it comes to measures of dispersion, let me remove all this. Now let us assume that this data is given to us, and this is something called as waist circumference, kamar ka naam, diameter of the waist, and which is calculated in centimeters, or which has been taken into the centimeters. Now if I want to calculate the variance of this data, what is the formula we have learned? The formula is x minus mu whole square divided by capital N, summation of x minus mu whole square divided by capital N. So capital N is nothing but how many data points we are having? We are having 23, the count of the numbers. So let us first calculate the average for this data, and the average for this data is going to be this. Now I am going to deduct it from every x value, right? This is what we have to do. So to do that, let me freeze the cell by doing dollar symbol, and I can copy it now. So this is the difference. Sorry, what happened? Okay. Oh no, not here. So this is the difference of each value with the average value of the data. Now we have to do the square of this. So if we do the square, it comes to this. Now we have to do the summation of all these values. And summation comes to 506. And how many number of data points are there? 23. So this divided by this is going to be my variance. And if I use the Excel formula, there is a formula in Excel to calculate the variance for population and variance for sample. So I'm going to use, because I'm calculating the variance for population first, then we will calculate it for sample. So if I want to calculate the variance for population, you can see we will get the same value. Similarly, to calculate the standard deviation, we simply have to take the square root of this value. So this is going to be the standard deviation, and if I want to calculate it with to calculate the standard deviation, it is STDEV population. So this is the Excel formula which we are using, and you can see here both the values are same, but this we have calculated for population. Similarly, we can calculate for sample. So to calculate it for sample, I need a sample. So how to get the sample? So as we have learned, the random sampling process, right? So I'm going to do a random sampling over here. I'm just taking some values from my population data if I assume it to be as population of the data given, and let's take these many values, and this is going to be my sample. Now how many values are there in sample? If you see, there are 12 values within the sample. Now let us first calculate the average for these values. And the average for these values is going to be 75.45. Now let us deduct, that is x minus mu, and now I have to freeze the cell. So if I copy it down, this is the differences I have got from each data point to the average of the data. Now simply I have to square it. So multiply the number with itself, that is squaring of the data. Now take the summation of it. So if I do the summation of it, it comes to 418. Now take the, now how many data points are there? There are 12 data points, but what is the formula to calculate the sample standard sample variance? N minus 1, we have to divide this summation by n minus 1. So let us divide it by n minus 1, that is 12 minus 1, which is 11. So it is 38.00, right? So let me do this thing. Okay, so this is 12, and this is going to be this divide by this minus 1, right? And this is my variance for sample. If I calculate it by using the Excel formula, then it comes to same. It has to, basically. Why it is coming different? Because how many data points are there? 12. So 12 is the count, right? So I have to use it with the bracket, right? So this is what the variance for sample, and to calculate variance standard deviation, we have to take the square root of which value? Of this value. And to calculate the STDV, standard deviation, for sample for this data, you can see, and this is the SD sample. So this is how the variance and standard deviation formula works. This is just, see, going forward we are going to understand all this formula with such examples, so that we can understand that how the formula works. The ready-made formulas are available in Excel, etc., but we are also going to look, okay, how the formula has been designed, programmed, and how it works on the real-time data, right? So that deep understanding we are going to take henceforward, right? So this is how we calculate the population variance and population standard deviation, and sample variance and sample standard deviation. And of course range is nothing but the maximum value of the data and the minimum value of the data. So if I want to find out the range of this particular data, okay, so we simply have to find out the maximum value and the minimum value, and I will show you how to do it in R. So going forward, what we are going to do is, wait a minute, give me a moment. So how to bring back? Yes. right? So going forward, what we are going to do is we are going to understand these formulas and statistical formulas, etc. Theoretically, we will see some examples through Excel as well, how they works. And I'm also going to show you what are the functions available in R and Python, both the languages, to get these measurements done, right? So that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, you can please post all those your questions on any of my communication number, channel links available in the description of this window. Okay, so I have LinkedIn account, I have a Facebook page through which you can contact me. You can also write comments in the YouTube window as well, but through Facebook page you can also send me the direct WhatsApp messages if there are any questions, to have the direct communication with me. And of course you can give me a call as well anytime, right? If you have really liked this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends who are new learners, beginners into the data science or statistical analysis, etc. And of course, as usual, for those who are watching this video for the first time, I would say that subscribe the YouTube channel so that you will get all the notifications for next developments and coming up videos, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. All the best. Bye bye. See you. Take care.